So the whole thing, like viral social media, viral content, whatever, there, again, with the whole formula, there's not really a formula. There are things that make it more likely to be viral. So like if you're using trending topics, you know, if it's like super, super high quality, those of course will increase your chances of going viral. Other than that, you don't really have control over that. That's the whole point of virus, you don't have control. But people want a formula for virality to make their content spread. The number one thing you can count on with any piece of viral content is that the person who makes that content, in most cases, not all the time, but I would say in 90% of the cases, they've put out 10 to 100 things before that didn't go viral. And they're gonna put out 10 to 100 things after that don't go viral. It's these little pops, these little like anomalies that get the attention of people, and then it creates this perception that like, oh my God, this person has the answer to viral content. Not true. Like consistency over time is what's gonna create your viral stuff. We write content for Fortune, Entrepreneur, Time, Business Insider, all these places every week. I would say only a few times a year do we have an article that blows up, you know? But we don't stop doing that because we know that the reason why certain articles blow up is because we're continually feeding the machine, and eventually it picks up. There's no formula like, oh, if I put in this headline plus this content plus this picture, it's gonna be big. So that's the first thing. Consistency is the only thing that's gonna make you eventually get a viral hit. And then you might experience more than one. Maybe you'll hit a growth curve where everything you do is really working, but it won't last for that long. That's why even bigger companies like Mashable and BuzzFeed have to work very hard to make their stuff go viral. Like they've gotten a little bit better at what spreads, but not everything they do goes viral. Most of what they do doesn't. The ones you see that go viral are because the reason you see them is because they went viral. All the other things they did they don't see is because they didn't work. I had my first article go, I would say semi-viral. Like it didn't get a million hits or whatever. Like it wasn't like massive, you know, like zombie apocalypse shit. It was just like I got a couple hundred subscribers to the blog and a few thousand visitors the first time I wrote it. And it was, like I mentioned earlier, it was an open letter to frustrated 20-somethings. You can search on Under 30 CEO and see that was back in May 13. It did pretty well. And I'm like, man, how can I recreate this success? Like it was a random success. It was a result of me posting on Facebook and getting some good feedback and thinking, oh, this could be a blog post. Wrote it, it worked. Posted it on Under 30 CEO, that worked too. And so I emailed one of my favorite authors, who's Seth Godin. He's written a bunch of different books. One of them is called Purple Cow. You should check it out. And I'm like, Seth, you know, you've written a lot of books. How can I make something, again, that spreads with this amount of like force and this amount of like, or greater, and this amount of like intensity through my targeted market? Like, how can I make people care about the next thing I write? And he's a good person to ask about this because he's like written a bunch of books on how to make original ideas spread. And he was like, dude, don't try to write a viral piece. Write a piece as if you were talking to a friend, genuinely helping them, being honest with them, actually trying to be of service and honest and open. When you write like that, and when you write from the heart, or when you shoot from the heart, when you create something that's actually a piece of you, that's what gives it the biggest chance to go viral. Doesn't mean it will, but those are the things that go viral. The pieces that expose a small part of us that we either weren't aware of, or that we were aware of but we didn't want to talk about, are the things that go viral. That's why memes work so well. When you see a meme is usually an inside joke that you only get if you're in a certain subset of the culture, and sometimes it's a subset of a culture. They're usually just pictures with a phrase, and the idea behind a meme is you don't need to know the whole context of the meme to understand, or you don't need to know the entire, you don't need to see a whole paragraph, read a whole paragraph to understand the context of the meme. It's instantly funny. So if you see a meme like the Chuck Norris meme we were talking about earlier, where it's like Chuck Norris got hit by gravity, then he hit gravity back, you know, shit like that. What does that imply? That implies all these things. It brings up memories of you seeing reruns of Chuck Norris on TNT as a kid, and you see him doing these crazy splits and kicks, which at the time we still thought was crazy. You see these
in jeans and cowboy
boots. And then what does that do? That reminds you of your childhood, so it reminds you of what you were doing at that time, reminds you of your family, your friends, and then it, you know, makes you think about now what's going on. It brings in all these like touchy-feelies, contextual things, outside tangential things that didn't necessarily relate, but now because of that Chuck Norris reference, it all comes back in together and you understand that, and then it just results in a cynical thing, which is funny. And that spreads because it has that amount of impact, but it's very honest, and it reveals something about you that you didn't necessarily know was there. You didn't know that you had all that connection to Chuck Norris. You're like, oh, I guess that does bring up a lot about my personal life. And because of that, it spreads. And so you want to create things that reveal that side of people, that reveal the things they're too scared to talk about, the things they've forgotten about, the things that they're ashamed of, the things that they're really proud of, things from their childhood especially really resonate. You know, you show me a picture of the fucking Power Rangers intro, I'm gonna go crazy. That was my shit. You know, that was my shit. And so, or even certain sounds or smells. And of course, that's not related to content, but the idea that you want to create that feeling of familiarity with someone is what will make something spread. So to do that, you have to talk to someone as if they're a friend. You have to be open and honest with them. And so try to come with that mindset in all your content. James Altucher also said that like the things that spread the most, the things you should be creating are the things that you're nervous before you publish, right? And things that you're nervous, or you're usually nervous because they're just a little bit too honest. Doesn't mean that you have to like, you know, bear it all online, but just those little nuggets that show that you're a real person will differentiate you from the people who are so obsessed with being a robot that we forget there's a real person behind the screen. That's what's most likely to make your content go viral. And you might do 5 of those types of content, pieces of content, 10, 20, 100 before you hit something that really resonates. And then you might not get it again for a while, but that's the type of stuff that spreads. And once you get that, that's what's going to propel you from just another voice out there to someone that people care about. And then you'll get that loyal band of followers who are willing to follow you throughout your journey to the next thing you write, the next thing you shoot, the next thing you do. That's how you grow a tribe over time. Over that course of that time, you have some viral hits pop up here and there, but along the way, you're now developing a tribe who are following you because you're honest and because you actually have something to say that relates to their lives, right? Because people are all about, how does this make me feel about what I've done? It's not about you. When people follow you, it's because they like you, but also because you do something for them that reminds them about their better qualities, right? And so if you can be that person by just being as open and honest as possible, that's how you're going to create that virality. And if not virality, just a rabid following that's small enough to matter, you know? Or big enough to matter, I guess.
Yeah.